How I made 1700 bucks in just one day through funding arbitrage with 5x leverage. In this video, I'll break down the trade in detail, how I entered, how I exited, and how I managed to make almost 2 grand. Watch the video till the end, give it a like and subscribe. Let's get started. For those who don't know, funding is the fees that traders pay to each other. If there are a lot of short sellers on an exchange, they pay the long traders. If it's the other way around, then accordingly, long traders pay the short sellers. These fees are meant to balance supply and demand on the exchange. Now I'll show you how I did arbitrage between Binance and LBank and how much I ended up making. But as you saw at the beginning of the video, it's about $2,000. Let's go. Now we'll break down this trade in more detail. Look, this is the LBank exchange, and here the funding rate is minus 0.0283. Also, I have about $11,000 on the exchange, and now I'll show you how we executed this trade. Next, let's switch to Binance and see what the funding rate is there. On Binance, the funding rate is minus 1.4346, so it's very negative, but on LBank, it's much lower. So what should we do in this situation? We should go long on Binance. The funding rate is negative, which means short sellers pay long holders. So here we go long, and on LBank we go short because the funding rate there is much lower. Yes, we will pay fees there, but they're much lower than on Binance. At the same time, we'll be collecting this funding. We have literally 10 minutes left, and we need to enter the trade within these 10 minutes in order to earn the funding. I also have $10,500 on Binance, and now we're going to execute this trade. I also forgot to mention an important point: make sure there's good trading volume. At the moment, there's a huge buzz around this token on both Binance and LBank, which is probably why the funding rates are so wildly inflated. Everyone is either shorting or longing it. There's a lot going on. Look, on LBank you can check the trading volume, $21 million. That's an excellent trading volume for arbitraging on futures. Binance always has good trading volume, so we can go ahead and execute this trade there as well. And what's also great for funding arbitrage is that the prices are the same. The token is priced at 198. It's 198 both on LBank and on Binance. In any case, we'll be opening both a long and a short position. We'll be taking hedged positions, but when the prices are the same and the funding rates are wildly different, that's the perfect opportunity to enter a trade. Such trades are actually very rare, and if you spot one, you should definitely take it. I'll also be entering the trade with 5x leverage. So if I have $10,000 and use 5x leverage, that's $50,000. $10,000 on one exchange, $10,000 on another exchange, plus 5x leverage ASO, the position size in this trade is $100,000. Accordingly, we also multiply the profit by 5. I'm entering this position at market price because the volatility is extremely high. The token is skyrocketing, there's a huge trading volume, and basically it's not profitable to enter with limit orders here, because by the time you place a limit order, the price will have already moved, your order won't get filled, then you place another one and it moves again. The trading volume allows us to enter at market price, so we open trades at market. I start going long on Binance, and at the same time I start shorting on LBank, building up a position of 2,000 to 3,000 tokens at a time. With these actions I enter gradually. On LBank, I'm shorting, slowly opening the trade at market price. Again, it's not worth putting in the entire amount, say $10,000, because you could significantly impact the price even with such trading volumes. So it's better to enter gradually with 2,000 or 3,000 tokens at a time. Depending on the token price in this case, the token costs $2. So if we enter with 2,000 tokens, that's $4,000. This isn't a large enough position to pump the price. So gradually, little by little, we enter the trade on the market with 2,000 tokens at a time. Again, as I mentioned, our position is delta neutral, meaning we can't go into the red because we have both a long and a short, but leverage increases the risks. It's important to remember that. So if you use high leverage, like 5x leverage, thinking you'll multiply your profit by 50 times, no guys, you could get liquidated. That's why we don't use high leverage in funding arbitrage. 5x leverage is pretty much, well, you could say it's the limit. It's better not to use more than that. So with 5x leverage, I gradually open a position, build it up in order to collect the funding. Again, we have 7 minutes left until the funding is paid out on Binance, so we need to make sure we enter the position in time. Also, there's another point. The funding rate can vary. So on Binance, the funding will be deducted in 7 minutes, but on LBank, it will be deducted in about 20 or 30 minutes. Therefore, if that happens, you naturally want to collect the funding on Binance. So as soon as we receive the funding on Binance, we can close the trade. We get the funding, close the trade. That's it, we enjoy the profit and keep it for ourselves. Again, don't pay attention to any unrealized profit or loss you might have. The most important thing for us is to collect the funding, which will be deducted in just 6 minutes. In this example, the funding is deducted simultaneously on both Binance and LBank, so we can calculate the profit from the trade right away. After you've opened the position, all that's left is to wait for the funding to be deducted. There are literally just a few minutes left. 1 minute remains, and then we'll be able to calculate how much we earn from a single funding deduction. There you go. And we can see that on Binance we earned funding in the amount of $758, and on LBank we paid a commission of $1578. So what's the difference here? $758 and $15 which we paid as commission, and that's how you can make money on funding. Moreover, we entered this trade several times. And now let's also calculate together how much we managed to earn in total. After we received the funding, we can close the position. In the same way, we start closing it gradually. I decided to close 3,000 tokens at a time. Accordingly, on LBank we close our short, And on Binance, we close our long. And gradually 3,000 tokens at a time, also by market order, because our high liquidity allows us to close at market price. That's why we gradually exit the position at market price, since our goal was to collect the funding. We've collected the funding and we don't have to stay and wait for the next funding, which will be charged in 4 hours. There's no need to wait for that. You can enter the trade again closer to the moment when the funding will be charged, and once again you'll have a difference in funding. We'll have that difference, so we've made 4 trades like this, and at the end we'll see how much we've earned in total from these trades. So in total we've made 4 trades on Binance and accordingly 4 trades on LBank as well. And in the end on Binance we managed to earn $746 from the first trade, $407 from the second trade, $758 from the third trade, and $458 from the fourth trade. Now let's move over to LBank and see how much we paid in funding fees on the other exchange. Since we were shorting there, our funding was negative, so we paid a fee, and then we'll be able to calculate the difference to see how much we actually earned in the end. Now on LBank, we see that for the first trade we paid $571 in fees, for the second trade $14, for the third trade $15, and for the fourth trade also $15. As a result, the difference amounted to $1,700. $1,700 between the 2 exchanges on funding, which we took thanks to the 5x leverage. And our trade, of course, was $10,000 on one exchange and also $10,000 on the other exchange. Again, here the trade is on your screens. You can see everything for yourselves. You see Binance, how much we earned. You see L1, how much we paid, and the profit that we made together. This trade literally took a day here for funding intervals. Well, you could say 2 days, but roughly speaking, in a day, yes, we made almost $2,000 purely on funding arbitrage. Just on funding arbitrage. That is, we weren't guessing where the price would go, up or down. It didn't matter to us because we were in a delta neutral position. Our goal was to capture the funding, which was highly negative on Binance, while on L1 it was much less negative. That's why we were able to capture this difference together. And you might ask me, where do you find such trades? I also want to get in and try arbitrage. Where can you find such trades? I'm going to give you a service now that shows the funding rate absolutely free. And you'll be able to look for funding rates on different exchanges yourself, enter trades and take the profit. I recommend this service in almost every video. It's called Arbitrage Scanner, because here we've gathered all the necessary tools for cryptocurrency arbitrage, not just for futures, but also for spot, funding, and much more. You can also do on-chain analysis here. Look, you can get 1 day absolutely free. But if you want to do funding arbitrage, you don't have to pay anything at all. Go to the arbitrage product tab, funding rates. It shows the token with funding, the maximum spread, and the exchanges where the funding is displayed in real time. Here, you can look for similar deals. As you can see right now, we don't have deals like the one we did with the UXLINK token on Binance and L1. And you can constantly monitor this tab and look for the same kinds of deals as we did in this video. Here's what you need to look for. You find the token, let's say the move token, right? The maximum spread is 4.57. We check what spreads we have look. On Bybit, the spread is minus 0.15. Next, we scroll down and see that on the KuCoin exchange, the spread is minus 0.53. So we have a difference in spreads. Accordingly, what should we do? We should go to the KuCoin exchange and start longing the token there and on the Bybit exchanges accordingly, so that we are in a delta neutral position for the same amount. For example, if it's $500, you long $500 on KuCoin and short $500 on Bybit, so that you remain in a delta neutral position. Our goal is to capture the difference between these funding rates. Here it's minus 0.53 and minus 0.15. Accordingly, on Bybit we'll pay a fee because the funding is negative and we're shorting. And on KuCoin we're longing and the funding is negative as well. That means the shorters are paying the longers. And accordingly, between these exchanges, we can capture the spread on the move token. Even just by going to the Bybit exchange, you can see for yourself that our funding rate is minus 0.15665. So here's your rate right on your screen. Here you can short. Let's go to KuCoin. The rate here is 0.5356. So we go long here to grab this tasty rate. And when this rate is executed, that is in 2 hours, while on Bybit, the rate is set in 10 minutes. So, as I mentioned before, we have a difference in funding fee timing, so we can wait until the funding is deducted here. If it continues to stay this negative around this value or even lower, if it's lower, that's even better. And then we can enter the trade after the funding has been deducted, so that we don't pay this funding fee unnecessarily wait until it's deducted. After it's been deducted, in 4 hours or 2 hours, depending on the market volatility, usually it's deducted every 8 hours. But again, it could be in 4 or even 2 hours. It all depends on the market volatility. After the funding has been deducted, we enter the trade and wait after 2 hours. On the move token on KuCoin, a negative funding will be deducted. Since we're going long, we'll receive profit from the short sellers. Funding arbitrage is always present. You can check out the arbitrage scanner yourself. The link is in the description, in the pinned comment, and in the description of our YouTube channel. You can check it out yourself and look at the arbitrage fundings. There are positive fundings and there are negative fundings. All of this can be earned and taken, but the main thing is to understand the principle of funding arbitrage. If the fundings are negative, we enter accordingly. On the exchange where the funding is more negative, we go long there. Where it is less negative, we go short, and that's how you can make money on funding. In addition, on the Arbitrage Scanner, there are also paid features. But again, I'll talk about them because they're also worth your attention. Right now, take a look at the trades with 2.5% profit, 2.67. Wow! So these are our trades on Arbitrage Perpetuals using the spot future strategy. That is, we buy the token on spot and at the same time short it on futures. And we have a profit of 2.5%. Moreover, we're also earning from funding. The funding is positive, and since we're shorting, we're making money on that as well. We buy the token on XC and short it on Binance futures. Just now, live right in front of you, I found the trade on the XMR token. Let's even go in and check if there's an arbitrage opportunity there. Yes, look, on MEXC, the XMR token costs, roughly speaking, $271. Meanwhile, on Binance, it costs $277. Just imagine the price difference. Obviously, there was some kind of spike here. That is, some whale came in and suddenly bought a large position. On MEXC, we don't see anything like that, of course. It's thanks to these kinds of market inefficiencies that we make money. We engage in arbitrage, we capture these inefficiencies, and we make a profit. And that's how a deal like this happens live. Buy the token on MEXC, short it on Binance futures, because the futures price usually tends to move toward the spot price, and earn a profit. Here's a deal right in front of you. I just found it. Moreover, you can look for deals using the spot plus futures, futures plus spots, or futures plus futures strategies. All of this can be set up automatically. The lifetime of the deal, how long it lasts, the amount you're willing to invest, minimum profit, maximum profit, the exchanges you want to trade on. All this can be configured here. Arbitration screener. Let's go here. For us, this is inter-exchange arbitrage. That is, we buy cheaper on one exchange, transfer to another exchange, and sell more expensive. In the same way, everything here is completely customized, and we show deals and how much we can earn. Here's a deal with 11% profit. Look. Up. But unfortunately, we won't be able to withdraw via the Ethereum network, and the exchange requires a deposit on the Ethereum network. But these two deals here, they are workable. So for these tokens, we buy on KuCoin, and it shows us the exchange where we need to buy KuCoin or Gate, depending on the token. And the exchange where to sell is MEXC or MEXC. It also shows the trading volume and the profit we will earn, as well as how long the deal lasts, the withdrawal networks, and what commission we will pay. Everything is displayed automatically here. You just enter the settings and the deals are provided to you. All you need to do is enter the deal and take the profit. The Arbitrage Scanner service works just like this, super convenient. And thanks to this service, I earn money through crypto arbitrage and share with you the profits I managed to make, as well as demonstrate strategies that work. So be sure to use the Arbitrage Scanner service. The link is in the description of our YouTube channel, and in the pinned comment. Such opportunities don't come up every day, but when they do, you definitely need to take them. In this video, I showed how I entered the trade, how I exited, how I searched, and which tools I used. So by following this example, you can do crypto arbitrage yourself, arbitrage on futures, on funding. Again, we have a lot of useful videos on our channel. Be sure to watch them, subscribe, and share the videos with your friends. And I'll see you in the next videos. Bye everyone!